the Cannibal Captain. Welcome to Midnight Narratives, where history isn't just dark, it's terrifying. I'm just a small-town, Aussie girl with a fascination for the twisted corners of the past, and tonight, I'm taking you out to sea, where survival meant breaking the ultimate taboo. In 1884, the small yacht Mininet set sail from Southampton, England, bound for Sydney, Australia. It was an ordinary vessel for the time, and its crew was small but experienced: Captain Tom Dudley, First Mate Edwin Stevens, Seaman Edmund Brooks, and a 17-year-old cabin boy named Richard Parker. This was not a military mission, nor a voyage of discovery. It was meant to be a simple delivery, transporting the vessel to its new owner. But what started as routine quickly descended into one of the most disturbing survival stories in maritime history. Just weeks into the journey, while crossing the South Atlantic, a violent storm struck. The Mininet was not built for the open ocean. A massive wave damaged the hull, and in a matter of hours, the yacht began to sink. The crew had only moments to abandon ship. They managed to escape in a 13-foot lifeboat with barely any supplies, no water, no emergency rations, only 2 small cans of turnips. In the lifeboat, floating hundreds of miles from land, their ordeal began. For the first few days, they survived by rationing the turnips. Tiny spoonfuls passed between them. They caught a turtle, providing a brief moment of hope, but after that, they were at the mercy of the sea. With no rain, dehydration set in. They began drinking their own urine. Their lips cracked. Their skin blistered. Salt water soaked their clothes and burned their skin. And all the while, Richard Parker, a teenage boy, inexperienced and desperate, made a fatal mistake. He drank seawater. Parker became gravely ill. He hallucinated. He slipped in and out of consciousness. After 19 days adrift, delirious and starving, Dudley and Stevens discussed the unthinkable, that one of them must die so the others could live. Brooks refused to participate, but Dudley saw no other way. One morning, while Parker lay unconscious and dying, Dudley whispered a prayer, and with Stevens watching, slit the boy's throat with a penknife. The 3 survivors fed on his body. They drank his blood to stay hydrated. They stripped his flesh and dried what they could in the sun. The boy who once dreamed of seeing the world had become sustenance. 4 days later, a passing ship spotted the lifeboat. The 3 men were rescued. They returned to England weak, emaciated, and haunted. At first, they told no one. They claimed Parker died naturally. But word got out. An investigation followed, and they were arrested. Their trial, R.V. Dudley and Stevens, became one of the most significant legal cases in British history. The court had to answer a grim question: can necessity ever justify murder? The defense argued that Parker was dying, that the others would have perished without nourishment, and that Dudley acted to preserve life. But the court rejected the argument. They ruled that taking a life, even under extreme conditions, could not be justified by necessity. Dudley and Stevens were found guilty and sentenced to death, though public sympathy led to a commuted sentence of 6 months imprisonment. The case remains a cornerstone in legal and ethical studies. It forces us to confront a dark, primal part of ourselves, the instinct to survive at all costs. Would you make the same decision? If your life depended on it, would you cross that line? And if you did, could you ever return to the person you once were? Thanks for joining me on Midnight Narratives. If this story chilled you, disturbed you, or just made you think, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I've got more haunting history coming your way. And remember, the past doesn't always stay buried.